Welcome to the first in a new series where we're going to look at the kind of fundamentals of setting up a modular system. We're going to look at the kind of core modules that you'll need and how they interplay with each other, as well as talking about kind of what they are, rather than just saying, get yourself an oscillator, which is where we're going to start. So this is an oscillator. There are various kinds of sound sources within Eurorack. You have wavetable synths, you have digital voices, you could have a sample player, but we're going to look at analog synths for this. So what does an analog synthesizer do? What will the voice do? What does the oscillator part do? Basically, it generates the tone for the rest of your system to then further shape and to create the core of your sound, as it were. So what it's doing is it's all voltage controlled. So let's start with the shapes. So you get a number of different options, sometimes in separate modules, sometimes in one. More often than not, you get kind of 3 or 4 within one oscillator module. And what I'm talking about here is the shape of the wave that it forms. So if you imagine a kind of a waveform that you might see an icon of, or like a WAV file on your computer, this is basically what that is doing. So we can use this knob here, and most oscillator modules are going to have these 2 main controls, one for octave, and it could be a switch, it could be a button, or it could be a rotary control like this, and same for the fine tuning. So let's have a listen to it. So the fine control and the octave switch. Now, not all oscillators are built the same. Some are going to have a greater range of octaves, some are going to have lesser. This one's actually got quite a few, so we can go all the way down to the deepest note, or the lowest voltage, and you can hear it's kind of clicking rather than making a discernible tone, and that's because it's so low frequency that it's almost an LFO. You can turn it all the way up to its maximum. Really wouldn't want to go much higher than that because dogs down the street will be hearing it. Now, I mentioned earlier about different wave shapes. Again, different options for this are going to be things like square, triangle, sawtooth, or sine wave, and you're going to be able to access them depending on the module you have, either with a button or the rotary control, sometimes a slider. Sometimes you don't have any option for kind of choosing or morphing between them, but you have a different output for each, and then quite often one output which combines them all. So in this instance, we've got a sine wave and a square wave, and we've got a control here that lets us morph between them. So the sine wave, very smooth and soft, and if you imagine the wave shape being kind of like a gentle wave, and then think of something a bit harsher and stepped, and imagine how that would sound, we can morph into that. Or we can go somewhere between the two. And so far, so good. We can make 1950s kind of sci-fi movie sounds. Now, the other thing you can do before you start shaping the sound is to get some pitch information into the oscillator so that you get something a bit more kind of melodic. So let's do that now. I'm going to take, I'm not going to go too much into depth about what I'm using to generate the pitch information. I'm just using something called Pamela's New Workout, and I'm using that to create triggers so that each time you see the light blink, it's just sending a pulse to trigger something else to happen. And what that's doing is it's triggering a step in my sequencer. Now the sequencer I'm using here is tetrachords, which is my favourite kind of like I use it as a generative sequencer quite a lot. But what it does is it creates an output, which is a voltage, so called CV. CVs you'll hear thrown around a lot. That term means control voltage, and it controls an awful lot in modular. So what I'm going to do is, we see here we've got a pitch CV, volts per octave, and that's how oscillators work. They get volts per octave controls the pitch. So I've plugged that in, nothing's changed. Why is that? Well, that's because I haven't started the sequencer, so there are no triggers going out yet. But as soon as I press this button, the pitch coming into here is going to generate that melodic sequence. Now we will still have overriding control with this. So I can still, if I wanted to make this line of melody a bass line, all I could do is drop this down a couple of octaves. And this is the first step in creating a patch. You get some pitch information into an oscillator. The oscillator is used to generate your tone, your kind of like basic fundamental structure of what your sound's going to be. And then you send it elsewhere to do other things. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about that here, but let's take it into, I've got a module here called Ghost. All I'm going to use it for is a little bit delay and reverb, just to kind of prettify this a little bit. Now I'm going to use a similar trigger based on the same kind of like timing as our trigger for the sequencer, just to get that delay to kind of match up. All I'm doing here is I'm just slowly adding some of the square wave into the sine. So you can see just a handful of very simple changes makes quite a difference to the overall tone, the biggest being the wave shape that you're using. Take out the reverb and the delay. We're back to our fundamental tone. And that's kind of how oscillators work. That's the basic of it. Some will have different selection of wave shapes you can use, some will have a different range of octaves that you can play with, and some will have, like this one, some other features that do some wild and wacky things. We're not going to look into them now because that's possibly for a future video. But let's just have a look at maybe one more module. So I'm going to take my pitch out from here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the trigger going. Let's just pull out that so it's out of the way. And instead of using this module, I'm going to take an output from polycinematic, which, as you can probably guess from the name, is polyphonic. So that's something we haven't really talked about yet. So you probably noticed that there's no kind of overlapping notes with this. So analog sequencers like this tend to be monophonic, which means one note at a time, whereas others can do either paraphonic, and that varies depending on the module, or polyphonic, like polycinematic. Now, we have a sawtooth, we have a square wave, and then like an organ type sound source on here. So let's just get that pitch going into there. So this is for my pitch information. Now the benefit of using a sound source like this is that you can see the different colours. Well, they tend to be for different kind of sections. So some setups, what this blue section at the top is for, that's an envelope generator, and that is one of the sound shaping tools you have. In the middle here, in the pink section, we've got kind of further sound tweaking things going on. So we've got a filter which could cut out some of the high end. Or add it back in. And we can make the notes longer. We can make them swell. This module itself also has a reverb. Let's switch to the square wave. And then to the organ. Also have different kind of types. So we've got this mode switch here, which takes our wave shape and gives us 3 varieties of each. Now, something to think about with the difference between monophonic and polyphonic is that the polyphony can play chords. So I could change this. So you can hear we've got 8 notes playing there. Let's just change that. So we've got 4 notes. And back to single notes. The other advantage to a polyphonic module is that generally you can kind of detune them. So let's do that. Let's make this less pretty. So I'm just going to turn off all the other stuff in the module and we're just going to play with the oscillator part. So we have this here, and this is the detune button. So it's going to take all of the oscillators inside this module and it's going to detune them all very slightly depending on where I put this knob. If it's at 12 o'clock, we're going to be playing fifths, and all the way around you get kind of like an octave effect. So that sounds quite dissonant because they're not really tuned to each other. If I go to fifths, all the way up. And all the way back. So I'm going to give you 3 choices of VCOs that I think are worth looking at. The first one is going to be Erica Synth's Fusion VCO version 2. Now this module does everything that we've just talked about. It also has a sub out which is an octave lower, and that's a separate output. So there's a full mix output which gives you everything. There's a sub out, triangle out, and the pulse width out, and you have all of the kind of the standard VCO things that you would want. So you've got your pitch control and fine tuning. There's also a detune, which is quite nice. But what really makes this one special is it's got a tube overdrive circuit. And this sounds fantastic. Gives you everything from just like a little bit of hair through to full on really gritty tones. And that's something that you could do using a separate module, using a different VCO, but having it built in here is really lovely. So that's my first pick. My second choice is going to be Roland's System 500 512, which happens to be a dual VCO. So you actually get 2 VCOs in once. Both of them are identical. They have a 5 octave range, fine tune control, different outputs for different wave shapes. But what's really good about having a dual VCO like this is that you can sync them together which gives you a whole kind of range of other different tones. You get that kind of really lovely metallic sync sound that you can get from a VCO. And it's just generally a really well built module, which is based on the old System 100, which is a fantastic synth. So that's my second choice. Now my third choice is perhaps not the most obvious, but it's Moog's Mother 32. Now this has a sequencer, envelope generator, filter, all sorts of things built in. But if you're just getting started, you're going to need all those things at some point anyway, and the oscillator in it just sounds glorious. It's that lovely, rich, thick, creamy, classic Moog tone. And it has all the controls that we've talked about, so it's got things like wave selection between pulse and sawtooth. It has octave changes and fine control, everything you could want. So yes, it does an awful lot more, which we will cover in later videos, but that's my third choice and highly recommended.